It faces ALCORN State. That's its week 2 out of the SWAC. This Braves club, piloted by first-year head coach Cedric Thomas, projected to win the West Division in the SWAC. They certainly have their hands full today. So it's a touchback, and ALCORN State, who won the toss, selected to receive, begins on offense. We are glad that you are with us today in Nashville. And so the quarterback who makes a second straight start for these Braves, that's Tyler Macon. Coach, he's a redshirt junior, started at Missouri. The St. Louis native is a starting QB for the first time in his career.
About him is he can move the ball with his legs, and then you're going to see Thun also come in.
They will likely use several quarterbacks today, to your point. The first down handoff is to their starting tailback. That's Jacorian Sewell. High expectations for the redshirt sophomore. He was taken down by Brian Longwell. So Macon, in that week 1 loss to UAB, only threw 7 passes. And ran for 37 yards on the ground. Of the 3 quarterbacks that ALCORN State will likely play today, he might have the biggest arm of the bunch. No gain there on the second down keeper.
Well, you look at this defense, and they're just coming back from last week. They just add on to it because there's a big play right there, a tackle for a loss.
A Vanderbilt defense that played with great physicality, especially up front on the defensive line. Remember, they held Virginia Tech to just 75 yards rushing last week. And so Macon in the shotgun now. There comes Longwell on the blitz. Macon able to get that one away to the tight end, Tavarius Griffin. Picks up a handful, but sets up 4th and long.
Well, you look at the back here coming on the pressure, and it's one thing about this defense. It's going to make you're going to have to find the checks. You're going to have to try to find where they are because they're going to bring pressure each and every play, and they're going to force the quarterback to get the ball out of his hands.
So Elijah Gorman, the sophomore from Wisconsin, who punted 9 times last week in that loss to UAB, ready to send this one away. Martell Height is going to be Vandy's primary punt return man this season. And so the Commodores will set up shop just across the 30-yard line. And so it's been a whole lot of Pavia pandemonium, I should say. Diego Pavia is a starting quarterback this year for Vanderbilt. Coming out of high school, he was a state champion wrestler, had 0 FBS offers, winds up at a junior college in Roswell, New Mexico, after leading them to a JUCO national championship. Jerry Kill over at New Mexico State takes a chance on him, brings him in, 2-year starter, leads him to 10 wins a season ago. And Clark Lee and this Vandy staff brought him in after he hit the transfer portal this offseason. The 5th-year senior from Albuquerque, New Mexico, has a proven track record of winning where he has been over the last few years, as you saw. First down carries to Cedric Alexander for a gain of 3.
What do you think you like about this offense, Kevin? It's an option offense, so they're going to put a lot of pressure on the perimeter, and they're going to. You got to be option sound when you talk. You got to take the dive, you got to take the quarterback, you got to take the pitch, and a lot of times it's going to be with the motion.
And Pavia has no problems keeping it. You see how productive he's been. 55 touchdowns in his 28 games as an FBS quarterback. On the ground last week, they ran for over 100 yards. Pavia straight ahead on the keeper that time. Picks up 5.
Good job of keeping it and then dipping back up inside. But you see the motion coming around from the top, and that was going to be his pitch man, but he cut it back inside.
Coach, look what he did on the ground last year as a senior at New Mexico State. 4th most rushing yards of all quarterbacks at the FBS level.
So you know he has that toughness, and he don't mind pulling the ball down and taking off with it.
He is proven to be a fearless playmaker, and he did just that. And the significant win against Virginia Tech last week. Cole Spence came in motion. Pavia sidesteps one, and he jukes his way across the 50-yard line. Gain of 13.
Just stay on schedule. You know, that's a 3rd and 1. The offense stays on schedule, and you're going to get to short yardage. Here's the play right here. It's good by him. Pavia, and he ends up cutting it back behind the linebacker.
Oh, you saw the athleticism there, that juke, to free himself up for a few more yards. Couple of tailbacks on either side of Pavia. A.J. Newberry into the game as well. He's on Pavia's right hip. Pavia keeps it. He gets leveled after a very short gain.
Just a backer being aggressive, running downhill, running behind his pads. It's a good job by Edwards just coming downhill.
Yeah, that's Demarion Edwards, the senior from Hollandale, Mississippi. Laid a hit on the 5th-year senior. So Pavia and Vanderbilt are out across midfield. 2nd and 10 coming up for the captain.
For 3rd down.
Here's Alexander, straight ahead off the right side, and he gains 6.
So now you go 3rd down here. So it allow you 2 downs to get the 1st down, and look where the ball is.
Vanderbilt moving a little quickly here. Play action to the boundary, and there's Quincy Skinner Jr., who caught a touchdown pass in the win last week.
Well, you look at it, it's 3rd and 5. You got to be able to close the cushion there. Skinner sits it down. Hobby makes the throw, a good catch, and then he turns to get back upfield for a few yards.
Yeah, Skinner was Pavia's favorite target a week ago. He targeted him 6 times, caught the touchdown in the first half of that game. Remember, Vandy, they jumped out to a 17-0 lead in the first half. Ultimately took a 17-3 lead into the break against Virginia Tech. That was critical and helping them start 1-0. Chase Gillespie now into the game. He's behind Pavia. One of the many tailbacks we'll see. So here's that option look. Pavia pitches it. Oh, a dangerous pitch, but Alexander is able to go up for it and haul it in.
But that's what happens in the option game. It's just numbers. And he had it. He had the pitch open, so he made the guy who's responsible for a quarterback took him, and then he pitches the ball. But like you said, he just got to be a little more crisp with that pitch.
So remember, both of Vandy's quarterbacks last year, A.J. Swan and Ken Seals, they hit the transfer portal immediately after the season finishes up. So Clark Lee's got to overhaul the offense a little bit.
Well, 2nd and short here. You may want to take a shot here. You got 2nd and short, Kevin. You may want to get on top.
Pavia, 12 of 16 through the air last week. From the 24, Vandy moving swiftly on this drive. Pavia spins across the line to gain. And a whole swarm of Braves are able to finally throw him down, but it's enough to move the sticks. Dew and McKelton combined on the tackle. Vanderbilt last week, Coach, they possessed the ball for nearly 35 minutes. And that's exactly what Clark Lee wants to do with this offense. First-year offensive coordinator Tim Beck, they want to chew some clock.
And that's what this offense allows you to do, where you can eat up the clock and keep the ball away from the opponent's offense.
There goes Alexander, and a whistle. And a timeout taken by Alcorn State with 7:38 to go in this first.
State. It is their first.
So Vanderbilt on the move, driving deep into Alcorn State territory on their first offensive drive.
All right, Tina, 6 is hard to beat.
Not for us.
First ever meeting of these two teams, by the way. Alcorn State visiting. It's second of a back-to-back here against FBS opponents. Opened up last week against UAB. Here's a 1st and 10 for Diego Pavia. He is the SEC Offensive Player of the Week, who guided Vanderbilt to that victory last week. That's a short gain of 3. That was Cedric Alexander on the carry.
Okay, if you look at Kev, every play they're moving somebody, so they're trying to distract, put the defenders in a conflict with just motion.
And so Cedric Thomas's team, they certainly have their hands full today. Thomas took over as a head coach, replacing Fred McNair in the offseason. That's Steve McNair's brother, by the way. Spent 8 years guiding this program, led them to great success. They tied for first in the SWAC West Division last year. Although the two parted ways, Cedric Thomas takes over after spending the last couple of years as the defensive coordinator. There's another short gain on second down. Pavia found Alexander out of the backfield.
But you look at Coach Thomas and the record that he has, the track record where he's been, and he's done a good job everywhere he's been. And right now, it's all about him developing these players. And I know this is going to be a tough game for him tonight, but you like the challenge.
A head coach once again. You're right on, Coach. He was the head man at Arkansas Pine Bluff for a couple of years, and then afterward at Mississippi Delta Community College as recent as 2021. And even considering the head coach change, he retained many of the coaches and coordinators, wanted to keep some staff continuity after a fine 7-4 season a year ago. On 3rd and 6, Pavia pitch it out to Alexander, keeps his feet, but only momentarily. And he's going to wind up a handful of yards short of the first down. So it sets up about 4th and 5.
That's a really good job by the defense. I mean, they brought pressure. It's 3rd and 6 in that middle, and here comes the pressure right here. The guy does a great job of playing the quarterback, forcing the ball to be pitched, and the pursuit getting to it.
Yeah, that is the challenge today, identifying the pitch man, if you will. So here's Brock Taylor, who nailed a 53-yarder and a 43-yarder last week in the win against Virginia Tech. He's got a big leg. And the sophomore's got a 35-yarder here to put the Commodores on the board. So a fine opening drive. They choose some clock. They move it nicely. And with 5:15 to go in the first, Clark Lee's team has a 3-0 lead.
Recipes written by hand and lost to time are now being analyzed and restored using the power of Dell AI.
All right, Tina, 6 is her.
Field goal for Brock Taylor. This is a coach, you mentioned it before. There's a lot of freshness surrounding this program in terms of personnel, maybe expectations. There were some coaching changes that Clark Lee made in the offseason as well. So now the very thoughtful, insightful, intellectual 42-year-old from right here in Nashville, in his 4th year as a head coach at his alma mater, he takes over as the defensive coordinator. He's called the defensive plays this year, Coach.
And you look at last week, the way the defense performed, it's all about his personality. When you're a defensive coordinator, you want the defense to take on your personality. And that's what this defense is doing right now. It's taking on his personality.
Last week, he really praised the physicality of his team's defense. And he said it's reinvigorated him, taking over the DC duties, but it's a challenge. It is balancing both duties, if you will.
It's a major challenge because when you're the defensive coordinator, you're standing there and you're trying to call the defense. You're concerned about that, so you want to make sure that everybody's aligned right.
So this is Alcorn State's second offensive possession. Tyler Macon operates a quarterback for the Braves, and that's a gain of nearly 10 on the play. He found one of his favorite targets as Tavarius Griffin, who's the top returning receiver for this Alcorn State team this year.
Just to leak out into the flat, quarterback runs a naked boot, throws it out there to him.
Griffin is very dynamic. He's going to do a lot of damage in the SWAC. The all-conference veteran has his second catch of the day. Speaking of defense, in a lot of ways, that Alcorn State holding Vandy to 3 was a big defensive win as well.
Big defensive win for Alcorn to hold him to 3 points there.
Macon to his tailback and nowhere to go in the backfield. Brandon Fontenette with the stop. Let's flash it back to a week ago. This Vanderbilt defense, boy,
tipping balls. And if you look at that defense, they're coming from everywhere. And they're showing pressure, knocking the ball out of the air, getting sacks. And that's what you really like with the defense. It's up-tempo now, and guys are making plays.
That was Glenn Seabrooks who picked that pass off. Linus Zunk had a couple of sacks. They held Virginia Tech to just 75 yards rushing. That's it. So on 2nd and 12, what does Macon do here? The redshirt junior from St. Louis uses his legs, picks up about 6.
Okay. He had to on that play because everybody was covered. If you look down the field, no one was open. That's what that's what we call a coverage sack, but he took up running with the ball.
So sets up 3rd and manageable for Alcorn State. That had to replace a whole lot of production on the offensive side after their 7-win season a year ago.
It's 3rd down now. You always expect pressure here now. It's 3rd down.
Play clock draining. Macon stepping up. Macon, is he feeling the pressure? Intercepted. C.J. Taylor's carrying a man with him. Taken down inside the 20. Vandy in with a great field position after the pick.
Just look at the backer here, Kev, come on the blitz. He jumps over the back. He jumps over the back right down the middle, coming right down the pipe. There he comes right here. He jumps over the back, hurdles it, causes pressure. The ball is tipped, goes up, intercepts it, takes it in for a score. Really good job. C.J. Taylor, that's your guy.
The senior captain with his first interception of the season. He picked off 2 last year.
And you think about Rinaldi is like their nickel guy. He comes in on the nickel package.
Just the incredible athleticism that you spotlighted there from Rinaldi. And Macon just did not escape the pressure in time. All right, we're going to have a little pass here to the end zone. It's caught! Cole Spence on the receiving end of his fellow tight end, Eli Stowers, the former quarterback, into the end zone for 6.
What a play. And in the red zone, you're going to get some type of trickery. It's usually where you get the double reverses and everything. So there's a pass right there, double reverse pass. Those guys wide open into the end zone.
On the first play after the interception, it's Eli Stowers. Again, he had a 42-yard catch last week. The tight end, it was a converted tight end. He used to be a quarterback. Hits Spence for his first ever college reception. It's a touchdown. Take a look at this. Taylor is the man on the defensive side who picks the pass off, and it sets up Stowers to Spence. Vanderbilt's into the end zone, up 10-0. Vanderbilt is ahead 10-0 after a marvelously executed trick play. Coach, tight end to tight end here. What did you see?
Well, what's happened with the option game? You put so much pressure on. You put so much pressure on the defenders. So here he comes right now. He slips down, then pitches in the ball, and then throws it to a wide open Stowers. I mean, he's sitting there. Stowers throws it to Spence, and then touchdown.
Eli Stowers, remember, the former quarterback. He and Diego Pavia, they were recruited to Mexico State ahead of the 22 season. They're both quarterbacks. Tim Beck, the offensive coordinator, he goes, Stowers, he's just too athletic to back up Pavia to be on the sideline, so they transition him to tight end, but he's still got a great arm. New quarterback for Alcorn State, that's Xavier Vaughn. Short gain on the handoff, pickup of maybe 3. So, Coach, a quarterback change here for Alcorn State. We expected this, and so now you have Vaughn in there.
Well, you expected it, but you didn't expect it so early.
Yep.
You look, you're still in the first quarter, and then you make the change. But they got to somehow generate some offense here and try to move the ball down the field.
Vaughn's a sixth-year senior. Last year was a starter at a Division II school. That's Lincoln University in Missouri. So he has starting experience. Handoff up the middle, and a gain of 1 for Jacorian Sewell. That's.
Well, we talk about how aggressive the defense is. Just build a wall. That's all we're doing right now. The nose guard just building the wall up front with that front four. There you go, third down. So a big down. You want to get off the field on defense. Offense need to somehow find a way to get a first down to keep the ball moving. Yeah, and here I may disguise it. It may fake the blitz and then run out. We'll see what we get here.
They're starting to pinch in. Yep, they do fake that pressure. So a lot of time here for Vaughn, who's open. Throw is high and incomplete. Flag came in there from the near sideline. Our head referee is Daniel Detrow today.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 30. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
And so that holding penalty on Trudell Berry is going to move the sticks here for Alcorn State.
If you watch Berry, he's right here. The receiver is coming off the ball. And now here, he don't have to grab him at all. There's no way for him. There's nowhere to throw the football. And he gets his hand on him and get a holding call.
Yeah, you saw him hook the receiver there with his right arm. Vaughn was looking for Diablo McGee that time. He finds him here. McGee trying to shuffle away from a couple of jerseys. Gain of 1. And again, Vanderbilt certainly has the athleticism advantage today, and so that'll be the challenge for the Braves.
Pass, quick, aggressive on defense. Look at that. You throw just a bubble screen out there, and the defense is all over it.
2nd and 7 for Alcorn State. Vaughn last year threw for more than 1,500 yards in 11 games at Lincoln University. Rifles this one. That's caught over the middle. And Caleb Anderson is taken down very close to the line to gain as the first quarter comes to a close. So the Commodores feeling really good after that week 1 win against Virginia Tech. They're off to a 10-0 lead. A field goal and then a little tight end to tight end touchdown pass. The exclamation point in the first. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Prime Time, presented by Dr. Pepper. 1 quarter in the books. Vanderbilt with the 10-0 lead. Twilight here in Nashville, back at First Bank Stadium. Good view here at some of the renovations that are ongoing on the opposite side of the field. The south end zone, that one is finished over on the other side. And Alcorn State takes a timeout before their 3rd and 1 play. So it's the second timeout Cedric Thomas has had to use today. How about this for giant upsets? Northern Illinois with a stunning KO of Notre Dame. They hold the Irish coach to just 14 points. It's the program's first win against an AP top 10 opponent, first ever.
Well, you look at Notre Dame last week. They go to A&M and beat them, and then they bounce back at home and lose to NIU.
Yeah, that is stunning. Riley Leonard, again, the transfer from Duke. He threw 2 interceptions. Alcorn State's going to be stopped here on third down, I should say. That'll set up 4th and 3.
And if you look at it, the backer shoots through, same thing. Backer blitzes through, it's 3rd and short, and they throw in for a loss. It's a really good job by Coley.
This Vanderbilt defense that lost a few starters from a year ago, brought back a handful of others. There are plenty of returning Commodores that are elevating into starting roles. And we were talking to one of them, that's Langston Patterson, yesterday. Says there is just a different feeling with this group this year compared to the year prior. Flag on this punt. Height's going to let it bounce, and Alcorn State is going to let it roll down as far as it possibly can. And down at the half-yard line, we'll check on the flag, though.
Well, you got to field that punt. I mean, you're standing there on the 10, you got to have to field that punt because look where the ball ends up. But depending on where the flag is, where it may come back, but look where the ball ends up.
How about a 53-yard punt as it stands now for Elijah Gorman, Coach, after all that additional yardage?
And like you said, additional yardage.
Yep.
Where it should have never happened.
Illegal formation. Kicking team. Number 4 went from covered to uncovered. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. 4th down.
Yeah, so that's going to, unfortunately for Elijah Gorman, that's going to nullify the 53-yarder. And he's going to have to head back out there and try and do this again. So a do-over perhaps for Martell Height.
So you look at number 4 right here. He's on the line of scrimmage, so he covers up the guy, and then he illegal formation. He's got to move up on the ball.
So nice job from our officiating crew to recognize that one. So a do-over for Height. Gorman gets this one away. There's the sophomore from Rome, Georgia. Takes it straight up the middle. It's a couple of blocks. Now cuts outside the numbers. Height, he rolls through the punter. Gorman, though, is able to ultimately force him out of bounds.
But look how many yards he saved right there, Kevin. He saved 54 yards because he returned it.
We got a punter making a tackle after a 36-yard return. All right, let's take a look at our Fansville College football update brought to you by Dr. Pepper, Quinn Ewers, and Texas. Walk into the big house, Coach, and KO 10th ranked Michigan 31-12. Ewers was on the money today, largely.
Texas has an excellent football team, and Ewers has been there. He's been in the system, and he knows how to move the ball and score points.
So Vanderbilt out across midfield. It's second, make it third offensive possession. Diego Pavia improvising here. It's the SEC Player of the Week. And he finds his target on the sideline that time. That's Darian Wiley, who was injured and missed the opener last week. His first catch of the year.
Well, he makes a fake. He gets outside the defense. And anytime a quarterback gets outside the defense, their percentage goes up. And then a hit, I mean, the guy comes from the backside and gets a good hit on him.
And that is what Pavia can do. He can improvise. He can do things off script just like that. Wiley in motion now to the top of your screen. A.J. Newberry's the tailback. Newberry, a patient run. And he picks up a handful. Gain of 6.
Yeah. Good job by the guard, pulling to the outside right there. Blocking the backer, and the back just hits it back up inside.
Yeah, Newberry, Coach, he's the sophomore from Texas, only one carry in the opener. He is certainly aiming to take a step forward in his sophomore season with Alexander. It's a younger running back group with that duo.
But what you like here, the offense is staying on schedule. That's second and short, now they're back to 1st and 10.
From the 33, it looked like there was some pre-snap movement and likely a false start here on the offense.
Offense, number 52. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
So that's Kevo Wesley. It's just an area where they excelled last week. No pre-snap penalties in the win against Virginia Tech.
And if I want to make it right, I think Kevo's a quick guard.
Yeah.
That's what's different about this offensive line.
What do you mean by
quick
that?
Guard, quick tackle, strong guard, strong tackle. So that way, when they line up, somebody's going to line up to the tight end side, and that way you could switch your lanes so they're not always right and left.
They will be switching personnel on that line this season. Pavia keeps it. Pavia wrangled down after a gain of 6 on the play.
But when we talk about that offensive line a while ago, Kev, there's not many teams do it because usually with the offensive line, the guys are always going to say, my right tackle's my right tackle, my left tackle's my left tackle. But by switching it, you allow play both sides, and you balance it. It's all balanced, and the defense can't get a hit on you.
It's unique. It's not that common.
Very unique.
Yeah. Pavia today has thrown 3 passes. He's 3 for 3. 26 yards on the ground. Pavia fires to the outside. That pass is caught by Loic Fungi, the first-year Commodore, with his first catch of the day.
No, it's a great job of him getting rid of the ball because you bring outside pressure. The pressure's coming, and he releases it with Edison coming. See the pressure, and then Javi, that's a good job of him standing there making that throw. He has
staying in there and taking a hit after the play. Well, his toughness and his competitive spirit, it is praised by seemingly everybody, every one of his teammates, his coaches. Under center here, hands off to Newberry. Newberry has enough for the first down, and so Vanderbilt moves inside the red zone.
But you look at right here, you go 2 tight ends, you go eye backs. I mean, how much do you see eye backs? You talk about eye backs, so you know that ball is coming downhill, and it's going to be physical up front. And then line up in it again.
Newberry, the tailback once again. Newberry escapes 1. Newberry on his feet inside the 5. And so they go back-to-back there, like you said, under center, and a handoff to Newberry.
And you know what? We may get the same formation, so you get unbalanced to the left side, to the right side of the offensive line. Same thing. Here it goes again. And our backs, you don't see this in college ball. Not many teams.
After a gain of 13, they fake it to Newberry. Pavia, nobody to beat. It's a touchdown. The fake out leads to the Diego Pavia touchdown. And a little Commodore leap.
Because you know what happened? You had it all set up. Everybody, you ran it twice, bam, power downhill. Then all of a sudden you run the naked boot, touchdown.
His rushing touchdown a week ago in overtime proved to be the difference. That's what put Vanderbilt ahead for good against Virginia Tech, his second rushing score of the season. Oh, they kept it on the ground effectively that drive. And Tim Beckey engineered a fine touchdown drive that time.
Well, you look at that, Kev. It's just downhill physical ball.
And Pavia, just nobody to beat on the way into the end zone for his second rushing score of the season.
Coach Gecko.
Coach G.
Laura, Dan. I didn't realize the media would be here.
No, this isn't for work. We're just really big fans.
And we're scouting for our fantasy insurance teams.
Geico has all the top prospects and 97% satisfaction rating. That's unreal.
Oh my gosh, it's Drew. Drew! Smells like insurance.
Suppose Geico does have devoted fans. It's not weird.
Jade, sign my arm.
For savings and service, get more with Geico.
She only signs claims checks.
Recipes. Recipes written by hand and lost to time are now being analyzed and restored using the power of Dell AI.
So Diego Pavia here on the bootleg from 5 yards out puts Vanderbilt ahead 16-0. They convert the extra point. Coach, we got a little, forget about Lambeau leap.
Hey, we got Lambeau leap, but we don't have enough people catching him.
Yeah.
We need more to catch him. Then that way when he jumps up here, this is the bandy leap. This is new. This is the new Pavia bandy leap.
Listen, it's a, you can see the padding there. It's not quite as much of a hurdle, too. You get up there pretty yeah, get there pretty easily. Diego Pavia, the fifth-year senior from Albuquerque, New Mexico, he is having a whole lot of fun here these first couple weeks as Vanderbilt's starting quarterback is Tarek Latham on the return.
36, Tarek Latham on the return for the Braves.
So remember, week 1 of the NFL slate, it starts tomorrow. We got Sunday NFL Countdown kicking things off for you at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Keep in mind, Troy Aikman, he's going to sit down with Dak Prescott. We'll go inside the quarterback room and all the latest news from Adam. That's beautiful. So Rodgers, of course, back under center after taking just playing four plays last year in his Jets debut. Alcorn State back on offense here. Xavier Vaughn under center for a short gain.
Well,
though troublesome openers, evidently, for Rodgers the last few years.
You like for him, you want him to bounce back because you like to see the Jets have a good year. And also you like for him to have a good year also. So it's going to be really fun to watch.
Well, high expectations for Breece Hall, by the way, in that backfield.
Yeah, because you look at the Jets, they have a great defense. Well, both of them have a great defense, so it's going to be really a fun game.
The Jets will be here facing the Titans week 2. Incomplete pass that time. Vaughn was looking for Omarion Blakes over the middle. A little unsturdy pass, and he couldn't quite handle it as he was sliding down. So 3rd and 10 for the Braves.
Well, it's just hard for Alcorn to get any type of rhythm going at all. And now they're just it's 3rd down. So here we come with our dime package. So this is the pressure package here. So you're going to get coverage and pressure. Getting the 3rd down noise. Here it comes. Hey, everybody's getting just cheering up on their feet.
Play clock is winding down. They recognize it. And Cedric Thomas uses his 3rd timeout here of the first half with 8:31 to go. The Braves need a minute. They've got a 3rd down on the other side here after the timeout. So this season, All-State will celebrate every field goal and extra point made by participating universities by making a donation to the university's General Scholarship Fund. So thank you, All-State, since 2005. Under the lights, First Bank Stadium, Nashville, Vanderbilt with the 17-0 lead. Approaching the halfway point of this second quarter. Xavier Vaughn rolling the pocket. And that pass is dropped. You had Tavarius Griffin there on the sideline. And so 4th down coming up.
Well, even when I'm sprinting out here and you're trying to get the ball to Griffin in the flat, they wouldn't have had enough yardage to even get the 1st down because the pursuit was coming from the Vandy defense.
And so Elijah Gorman is ready to punt this one back to Martell Height.
Okay.
Third punt of the day for Gorman. Height return run 36 yards his last time on the field. Height spins away from a couple of men and crosses the 35. So there's a 30-yard return for the sophomore from Rome, Georgia. So this Vanderbilt offense, they're up 17-0. Remember the excitement a week ago.
It's an exciting time and an exciting game.
Ready to rock. Spun it down and intercepted. Glenn Seabrook
with a shotgun look. Heaves it toward the end zone. Oh, he was there for the touchdown. To the front pylon and another touchdown.
What Diego Pavia is doing, you cannot coach.
Pavia, the keeper, to the edge. Cuts it back for the touchdown. Heave it to the end zone at the back, and it's incomplete. Vanderbilt with the upset in week 1.
The 34-27 overtime win against Virginia Tech. It was one of the more significant wins for the program in several years. Pavia on the keeper for a handful there on first down. I mean, that in a lot of ways, it could very much wind up being a season-altering win for Clark Lee's team. Last time they beat a ranked opponent was 2 years ago against Kentucky. And so look at that game in 2017, the 14-7 win against Kansas State. That was the last time Vandy had beaten a power conference team in the non-conference. 7 years had passed, and Clark Lee talked quite a bit in the days following about his team's fight and resilience after they fell behind late in the fourth quarter. Here's Stowers, who threw a touchdown pass. Now he's got his first, make it second catch of the day. Gain of 7.
Well, you talk about, Kev, they fell behind, so they were up 17, then they go down 7, and then they missed a field goal to go win the game, then they had to go into overtime. But that just shows you the resiliency of that team.
There was just a different feeling and energy on that sideline. We talked to Pavia, we talked to a couple of players, that that was not a game they were going to let slip away. You know, a lot of that belief, it starts and ends with their starting quarterback, Alexander, able to swing around a couple of blockers, picks up 8.
Second is short here, and there's going to be ahead of a change. But when you talk about just the team, you think about what Pavia, they all gravitate to him.
Yeah. Yeah, voted a captain in his first and only season here in Nashville. This is Alexander trying to weave around a couple of tacklers. That's enough to pick up the first down. Dew is the man to tackle him. Move the sticks.
You know, when the ball gets down in the red zone, I always think about the quarterback because he comes alive. Look at the last touchdown, the quarterback, he runs a naked boot and scores. But you don't want a lot of people touching the ball because you don't want any turnovers. So the quarterback, especially with this option game, he's a guy that comes alive and a guy you have to really watch.
Pavia last year at New Mexico State threw for nearly 3,000 yards, rushed, of course, for almost 1,000. He is a playmaker up the middle. And there's a flag near the line of scrimmage.
If you look here, they got their heavy personnel in, so now they got 3 tight ends in the game. So it goes with their heavy personnel, and they're just going to come off with just power and just run the ball.
Personal foul, blocking below the waist, defense number 7. The penalty will be enforced half the distance of the goal. Automatic first down.
And that was Kayvon Henderson, a sophomore from Antioch, Tennessee. Take a look at the left side here.
Look at the left side of the line. Here it is. It's coming downhill. He ends up cutting back underneath it, and the secondary end up making a tackle.
So now it's first and goal for the Commodores. They are trying to go up big here late in the first half.
Look at the formation.
Yep. Pavia under center again. The tailback is Alexander. Plows ahead for the touchdown. Cedric Alexander finds the end zone once again. His 3rd score of the year.
Well, you look at it, you go high backs again. While they go, they're wearing the naked boot. This time they just run the lead play. Fullback just goes right behind him. Alexander gets downhill, runs behind his pads, touchdown. Here it is right here, coming off, kicking out. Back, gets his pads down, runs through the defender, touchdown. Good job by Alexander. Big block there, really good block. He's just coming downhill right now.
And so after Alexander, coach found the end zone twice last week. He's got his third touchdown of the season, and Vanderbilt has a 24-0 lead with 5:02 to go in this first half. They have controlled just about every aspect thus far.
Well, the lineman not getting enough credit. That was Wesley right there pulling around and having a kick-out block.
Look who's on the sidelines, by the way, this season. Coach, it's Jerry Kill, who was hired after he retired after guiding New Mexico State to a 10-win season a year ago. Clark Lee adds him to the staff. He's a senior offensive advisor, so he coached Diego Pavia the last couple of years, and so he joined him.
Yeah, Jerry and I go back to his Southern Illinois days. He became the head coach there, and he's had a great career as the head coach. Was at New Mexico, and he had Pavia there. Then he ended up coming here, and then, lo and behold, a few months later, Pavia ends up there. But he's a great person. And the thing he's done with Clark is that he's been that guy. So Clark needs somebody to bounce off him. He bounces it off with Jerry.
Clark was telling us about his relationship with Jerry. He's been an encouraging voice. I'm not sure I saw a fair catch signal here from ALCORN State. And so they're going to have to set up shop here at the 5-yard line. Tough break there for ALCORN State to be backed up now. Look where this bounces.
Didn't he fair catch it and he just didn't catch the ball?
Yeah, I don't know if I saw the fair catch signal. And so therefore, ALCORN State has to start their drive where they recovered it. You get the double whammy there, no fair catch, and then it didn't bounce into the end zone either. Perfect amount of backspin there. So Xavier Vaughn is back under center, the 6th-year senior. A lot of pressure, and Taylor coming up from the secondary to drill the ball carrier. And so you see the return man there on the left. If you swing your arms out basically perpendicular to the shoulders, and that's more of a signal to your teammates rather than to the officials.
Right, to get away from it instead of putting his hand, waving it above his head. And you see the last play there. I mean, the kicking game has killed him. You think about it, could have had the ball on the 2-yard line down here, and there would have been a 98-yard drive for Vandy.
Yep.
And then you punt the ball to him, and it's been 2 big returns. But the kicking game is what's hurting ALCORN right now.
Play clock is winding. 1 second. Little quarterback sneak, Jalen Hurts style. A push ahead for a couple of yards. So it's still 3rd and long. Clock continues to wind now inside of 4 minutes. But yes, it's been all Vanderbilt in the first half. They've outgained ALCORN 153 yards to 28.
Well, this is going to be a big 3rd down here. You got them backed up. Do you bring pressure if you're Vandy? You got to somehow find a way to get a 1st down here with ALCORN. You got to get the ball on the perimeter and just try to find the open receiver.
Griffin, number 2, in the goal. He's going to be a big target this year for a SWAC program that is always vying for SWAC titles. They push the pile forward once again on 3rd and 9, so...
Well, they don't want to take a chance to get sacked, because if I drop back and throw the ball here, I have it protected well all day, so I can end up giving up a sack here.
So Cedric Thomas is saying, punt team, get out there. On 4th down here, so Thomas, the Cleveland, Mississippi native. Again, he spent the last 2 years as a defensive coordinator on this staff and was elevated to the head coaching position after Fred McNair left. So Gorman has to punt it in his own end zone. Martell Height thought about it. Down at the 44.
That's one of his better punts. Kick punts it away from him.
It's a 49-yard punt for the sophomore. Here's our Sunday Night Baseball matchup series finale between the Diamondbacks and the Astros, 7 Eastern on ESPN, and our coverage begins at 6 Eastern with Charlie Strong, Kevin Fitzgerald with you.
Well, you got 2 minutes here, Kevin. You like to see him just drive the ball down the field and get another score in right before half.
Pavia has run one in, and he has helped engineer 3 touchdown drives. One was very quick. Chase Gillespie on the carry that time, game of 6. So Gillespie.
Well, Kevin, what you like here, they done played all 3 of their backs here, so you like the way they're alternating and keeping guys fresh.
Yeah, that's his first carry. The junior from Tallahassee. 2-minute timeout with Vanderbilt ahead 24-0 over Alcorn State. Back in Nashville, beautiful shot of the downtown skyline. You can almost see Luke Bryan's spot. That's your guy.
Oh, that's my guy. I love Luke Bryan. What's my song, Shake It For Me? I mean, that's one of his top songs.
That's right.
But Luke Bryan, what a pretty city.
Coach, I love the melody you're bringing to the table here. Well, they have showed up for this Week 2 battle. It was a thrilling start to the season for Vandy. Pavia to the outside. Finds Tristan Brown, the freshman, is out across the 45 after a gain of 7. That overtime victory against Virginia Tech. It is catalyzed this team. It's catalyzed the fan base as well.
You know, right there is just a good pitch and throw, and it's too much cushion by the corner now. And that allows him to make that throw, easy throw.
Pavia's got all the time in the world. Now he starts to scramble. Pavia keeps. Flag comes in. After Pavia was ushered out of bounds there, got back to the original line of scrimmage.
They bring a corner blitz late, but they lose contain.
Number 55, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, remains first down.
And coach, they whistle Gunnar Hansen there for the holding penalty.
But if you look, the corner blitz, he's going to come late right there. 57, here he comes on the blitz, and then he ends up getting outside there.
And there's that hold right there.
Right here's the hold.
So that backs Vandy up to their own 47, 1st and 20. There's Brown in motion. 1:24 to go in the first half. Vanderbilt shutting out Alcorn State thus far. That is an impressive catch by the freshman from Houston, Texas. Brown reaching out to secure it.
You know, impressive throw by Pavia, and he's getting better, you know, to throwing the football.
Wow.
One hand.
So no catches in the opener for Brown. Again, he didn't play too much, but there is some high upside. There's great potential here for this rookie out of Houston, who left Lamar High School as their all-time leader in receptions and receiving yards. Pavia airing it out, throwing it deep to the end zone, and it's off of Fungi's hands. Broken up that time. Andrew Smith was in there on the coverage.
Same thing. Really a good throw by Pavia, but they bring pressure late again on him. But a good throw here. Just got to go up. Just high point the ball, go up and get it. He's waiting for it to just fall into his bread basket. Just go up and get it.
Solid coverage from the senior on that play as well. So that's the first incompletion for Pavia.
Well, 3rd down, we got to get this 3rd down. We got to convert this for Vandy, and then somehow find a way to get pressure on Bobby, not let him outside the pocket.
So it's 3rd and 9 after that Brown catch a couple of plays ago. Pavia rifles it over the middle. That's caught, and it's Brown, who's been his favorite target here on this drive. It's enough for a first with 1:05 to go in the half.
And you look at it, as much as he runs the ball, and now he's showing how well he can throw it.
So now Vanderbilt wants to move, and then the flag comes out. It's false start on the Commodores.
And you know something, Gav, this is not who they are. They're not an up-tempo team. So they don't get up there on the ball and just go. And so now you just see the penalty here where they're trying to go tempo.
False start. Offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty, remains first down. Vanderbilt has elected to take a timeout to prevent a 10-second runoff. Timeout, Vanderbilt. It is their first. It will be 30 seconds.
Oh, they had the Alcorn State defense caught off guard there. However, the false start for McConnell.
And that's probably what got the center to flinch. You know, the guys are lined up.
Clark Lee's team, they're feeling good after that win a week ago.
They're taking the ball here and just driving it, and they're doing a really good job of executing.
So it's 1st and 15. The line to gain is the 22. Pavia, clean pocket. Now decides to take off. Pavia, he's got the first down, or rather, excuse me, he's got 9 yards on the play. And so it should set up 2nd and 6.
Really good job on the offensive line, giving him a throwing lane. You know, there was no pressure at all. He just ended up just scrambling outside, just couldn't find anybody.
And so that is the value of having a guy like Pavia running this option offense. Again, he can take off and improvise at any time. Even when things start breaking down, it's oftentimes when he's at his best.
That's when he is at his best.
Yeah.
And then he's going to be able to find the receivers because DB's going to come off of him.
So from the 28, Pavia, he's chased. He is back near midfield. Pavia has to just get rid of it. He's looking for a man. Incomplete. Markel McLaurin, the nickelback, is fighting with the Vandy receiver. But again, it was ruled an incomplete pass. 3rd and 6.
Well, you know, another thing that happens to Pavia, he's getting hit a lot because he's taking a lot of hits. Like, look at this one right here, right there. And the guy jumps up on top of him, but he's taking a lot of hits, especially when you leave the pocket.
Yeah, clobbered that time at the end of the play. It was Malachi Bailey, who was the defensive end, who flushed him out of the pocket. So now on 3rd and 6. Pavia floats it. That's caught. Quincy Skinner Jr. right near the marker. Should set up 4th and short. Clock continues to move. 30 seconds to go.
You got to go for it here, try to get a score right before half.
They're ready to snap it on 4th and 1. Hand it off to Gillespie. Gillespie bounces to the outside. And there's a flag after the first down run.
Offense, number 55. 10-yard penalty from the previous.
That's Gunnar Henson again. I think that may be his second penalty in his drive.
Hansen. He's a 3-year starter, so the senior here has been whistled for a couple of holding penalties.
If you look at him right here, and he just reaches out, he's punching the guys. No, it's not. I mean, it just gets away from him. You see his right hand, and he lets him go.
Yeah, it didn't look like there was too much there. And so Clark Lee brings out Brock Taylor, who hit from 35 yards in the first quarter to kick off the Vandy scoring. This one would be a 46-yard attempt. Again, he hit one from 53 last week in the win against Virginia Tech. He has got a big, strong leg. He has got some range, and the sophomore from Knoxville, Tennessee, puts his team ahead 27-zip with 5 seconds to go.
Well, you talk about, we talked with Clark, when we talked with Coach the other day, he was talking about his leg, and he's like, I have enough confidence in him. Even though he missed it right there before the game ended, he's like, hey, I have enough confidence in him. We're going to still put him out there, and he goes out there and just train 2 today.
Taylor, boy, he has been impressive in his first season, basically handling the field goal duties here. So remember, coming up at the half, you can watch the live performance of the Spirit of Gold on the SEC Network Plus. Starts streaming now on the ESPN app. 27-zip. Vanderbilt, they have really controlled the pace of the tempo of this game. 205 yards of total offense compared to 31. And, you know, again, this is a game where there's certainly the heavy favorites against an Alcorn State team that's, you know, from a physicality standpoint, a bit overmatched.
Well, Alcorn's got to find a way to keep the ball and get some drives going and get first downs.
Farris booms this one away. Yeah, in the first half, you're just 31 yards of total offense for the Braves. All right, let's take a look at what the top 10 did this week. Georgia with that 41st straight regular season win. Texas with the impressive one at Michigan. But Notre Dame falling to Northern Illinois at home.
At home. After a big win on the road at Texas A&M, then you come home and lose to Northern Illinois.
Again, that's this week's college football rankings brought to you by... Remember, that was an early season game a season ago that gave the Tide some trouble, but ultimately went on to win the SEC championship. Alcorn State just takes a knee, and it's 27-zip Vanderbilt. So they have scored now on 8 of their last 9 drives. That goes back to the win last week against Virginia Tech. Pavia was 9 of 11 through the air. He ran in a touchdown and was very effective piloting this offense again. So, first half in the books, and the Commodores in control in Nashville. Or their first scoring drive, I should say, took 8 minutes, so they controlled the clock all right. How about this play in the first quarter? C.J. Taylor with the interception off of a deflected pass. Then a couple of moments later, we got the former quarterback turned tight end, Eli Stowers, who finds his fellow tight end, Cole Spence, for Vanderbilt's first touchdown of the day. Some special teams miscues on the Alcorn State side led to a huge Martell Wright punt return. That set up the offense in a great shape. Diego Pavia with his second rushing touchdown of the season, and he did a little... No, it's not the Lambeau
It's not
leap.
the Lambeau leap. No, the Vandy leap. The first, whatever era that is called.
Yeah. Listen, it's the expanded and renovated club level over there. Can we call it the Commodore Climb? There was the climb up.
But you didn't have to jump as high.
No, we did not. So 122 rushing yards on the ground there for Vanderbilt. So in terms of total yards, they outgain Alcorn 205-28. Just 2 first downs for the Braves. And again, this Alcorn State team, they are expected to be at the top of their division in the SWAC. They're very likely to be quite competitive this year. Just from a physicality standpoint, Cedric Thomas's team, they're certainly the heavy underdogs, and they're overmatched from that athleticism, physicality standpoint. However, they showed some great fight at times. Thomas has used a couple of quarterbacks. Back to the Vanderbilt side, though. They get the ball first here to begin this second half. And Noah Kiani swings the right leg. A return here. Junior Sherrill. Sherrill keeps his feet across the 30, a spin move past the 35, and so that's a fine 34-yard return for Junior Sherrill. So Pavia 9 of 11 through the air. He's also carried the football for rush for nearly 50 yards. He has taken some hits today.
Well, he really has. And every time he gets outside the pockets when their hits are coming, if he was standing in there, but he'd be bringing pressure, be going in the option, you're going to take a hit. And that's what I always told my defense. When the quarterback comes out with the option, that's your only chance you're going to get a clean hit on him. Take it, but make sure it's a clean hit.
And that is the schematic difference this year for Vanderbilt's offense. There you go. You saw what he did a week ago, over 100 yards on the ground in the win against Virginia Tech. But his game is very much that. It is physical. He's got it here. And he tries to turn the corner, cut down after a gain of 5.
And that's a good job. The tight end ends up blocking the edge for him, and then he gets outside, fakes it, and he pulls it. But another hit.
Yeah, he very much is a warrior. And that's the one concern this season, if you're the Vanderbilt staff and you're Pavia, you want him to get out there and make plays, but that leaves him susceptible, to a few more hits.
You got to protect that quarterback.
Last year, the Conference USA Offensive Player of the Year after he led New Mexico State to that 10-win season. It was the second winningest season in program history. It was Gillespie on the short third down carry. So he has won everywhere he has been at all levels. His last season at that junior college in Roswell, New Mexico, that's New Mexico Military Institute, they won the JUCO National Championship. That's what enabled him to catch the eye of Jerry Kill, who had just taken the New Mexico State head job. They were scouting the quarterback that he faced in the championship game. Pavia outplayed him. And Jerry Kill and Tim Beck, the offensive coordinator, they go, we might have to make an adjustment here.
Here's a short yardage package here.
On 3rd and 3, handoff up the middle. That's Alexander with an athletic run to pick up the first, gain of 5.
It's a good motion by the tight end, comes across the formation. There it is right here. He's coming across. And then he ends up blocking the edge, and the back ends up ducking underneath him.
Speaking of physicality, Coach, that Vandy coaching staff, they really lauded Alexander's physical ground game a week ago.
Well, he's just a tough runner. You know, he's not very big. He's packed up, runs behind his pads, but he's one of those guys don't mind getting downhill.
He's 5'9", about 200 pounds. He can stay low to the ground. He can squeeze through the holes. Pavia is looking to really take the top off of this one. Pavia looking deep. And it's past his intended target. He's trying to hit Junior Sherrill.
But the thing is, he's got to be able to throw this ball, and you want to see some completions there. Because if you're going to run the option, you got to mix it up, and you can't just allow people to stack and load the box on you because they're going to be stopping the run. So you got to complete deep passes or even, the short hitches.
The longest pass play of the day was actually Stowers to Spence. 17 yards through the air. Vanderbilt, after such an emotionally charged victory, they needed to be able to stay disciplined, turn the page very quickly, and they have performed very well. Pavia, he's dragging a man with him. He stepped out of that attempted tackle momentarily.
It's a good job by your back, just leading downhill, coming downhill. Here he is right here. Follow him. He comes off, blocks the backer right here, and then Pavia's able to run right behind the block.
It's a great catch. That was Alexander again, who was really good in pass protection a week ago. So it sets up 3rd and 1. They'll have the I formation look again. They bring the fullback, Gabe Fisher, to lead the way for Alexander.
I backs again. Here's that formation.
We saw this.
3 tight ends. Ball bounces outside.
And Alexander's got the first down.
Andrew Smith is able to make that tackle. But you like this formation because now it's just physicality. We're going to come downhill as I-backs. We're running downhill, and then they're going to get those short yardage. But it's a really good job by Alexander. They had it wadded up inside. He's able to bounce out.
That's a smart read, and that's now, 11 carries, 51 yards for Alexander.
3-back offense.
Formation.
Look at that. 3 backs.
Monty Jones, number 33 in the black. He's into the game for the first time. Jones, rather Gillespie, is taken down in the backfield. Loss of 1. Good defensive push that time by the Braves.
Edwards did a really good job. You see both backs are leading, and then he just runs underneath the block and end up making a play.
Stamarian Edwards has made a couple of fine tackles. Very dependable linebacker. And one of the top returning tacklers from that 7-win team a year ago. And if there is one thing that Cedric Thomas is quite excited about, it's a veteran-led defense. There goes Sherrill. Will Pavia look his way? Instead, he's got to improvise. Pavia wrangled down. And it's Edwards once again with the sack.
What about that back-to-back plays? Right there, he shoots a gap, gets the sack, and then play action. Play action, the seam opens. Look at him, play action, the seam opens, and there he comes right here and makes the play. Good job.
Just chases him down, the senior from Hollandale, Mississippi. And so this is
it's very
3rd and 19, Coach.
Very unusual because you look at they've never been in this long yardage situation before.
Well, looks like Thomas was trying to point out the injured player. That's Jaquez Dew on the ground. A timeout with 9:36 to go in the 3rd. You're watching the SEC on E tonight. Warm weather has moved out. How about a 3rd and 19 for the Commodores? You got 4 to the top side there. Pavia with a clean pocket. Diego Pavia. What's he going to do? Who's open? Oh, down he goes back near midfield. And a whole convoy of Braves were able to bust through, led by Brendan Gibson.
Well, you go empty here. When it went empty, it's a coverage sack all the way because there's nowhere for him to go with the football. You look around, there's nowhere for him to go. Look, I mean, everybody's covered here, and everything is covered here, and so now there's nowhere for him to go. So the ball, he ends up either throwing it out of bounds or just, he goes for a sack.
Leads to the first Vanderbilt punt of the day. And so there were a couple of nice defensive moments there by this Alcorn State defense.
But you're right. That's the first punt of the game for Vandy.
A flag near the original line of scrimmage came in immediately after the Jesse Mirko punt. This is Daniel Detrow.
Holding, kicking team number 13. The 10-yard penalty will be enforced from the previous spot. 4th down.
And so that's the 6th penalty on Vanderbilt this evening.
And how many of them are in the kicking game?
Yep.
That's where it's right there. It's what's hurting. It's in the kicking game.
And so instead of pinning your opponent way back inside its own 5-yard line, Mirko is going to have to boom this one away. Mirko was a fantastic addition in the offseason the last 3 years at Ohio State. A couple of years ago, he averaged about 46 yards a punt. This one looks like it does bounce inside the 20. And so Alcorn State has a little better field goal position when they're back out there on the other side of the timeout, looking for their first score of the night. Alcorn State has such a proud and prominent history on the gridiron. We start with the late, great Steve McNair, who tore opponents up in the early 90s when he played for Alcorn, where his team, by the way, playing in the city that he had so much NFL success. Donald Driver, another former Brave, spent nearly 15 years in the NFL, those great years with the Packers, and then Jimmy Giles as well. There have been some wonderful players that went on to do big things at the next level that started.
Think about it, that's old school. I mean,
Yeah.
Jimmy Giles is old school. Look at that Tampa Bay jersey. I mean, that's the old school Buccaneer jersey.
Creamsicle jerseys.
Creamsicle.
Alcorn State has it here, right around the 20-yard line. Deep pass. This one is into traffic and knocked away. To Ricky Wright had his hands on it and then collided with his teammate. And so a near interception hits the turf. That time Xavier Vaughn was airing it out.
And, you know, if it's the guy's double covered, but at least they went for it. Like they threw the ball down the field.
That was the biggest shot that Alcorn State has taken down the field. Xavier Vaughn, again, the senior from Beaumont, Texas, slings it out to the flat. This is Tavarius Adams. Very short gain. He might have gotten one. Let's not forget, you know, soon to be former NFL head coach Leslie Frazier was a former Alcorn State defensive back, 1978 to 1980.
And you know, and has a very good career, defensive coordinator in the NFL. But he is an amazing, unbelievable person, and he's a great person. And he actually set up for these guys to go visit Tampa Bay, and they made a trip down there in the summer. The whole staff from Alcorn State, they were able to go to Tampa Bay and watch practice.
Cedric Thomas, again, is in his first season as the head coach here at Alcorn. Very close with Frazier. This pass is caught by Jakarian Sewell. Picked up short yardage there, so it sets up a fourth down.
So they go to Tampa, and so they were able to sit in meetings, go to practice, talk with the players, and every night what Coach did was he told them to write down 2 or 3 questions that he would have for the position that they were looking at, you know, whatever position that they were shadowing. I need you to give me 2 or 3 questions so you can ask the coach, so we can talk about a fundamental or technique or just having to deal with players. It was the coach, I mean, he raved about how super it was. So you got to just thank Tampa Bay for just doing that and opening the doors to these coaches here.
Yeah, Todd Bowles and his staff. That is an invaluable experience that you get as a coaching staff. And a bunch of Braves trying to strip it away from height there.
And they talked about how good it was and how much they enjoyed it.
Incredible experience. Vandy, though, has it with a 27-0 lead when we come back. The U.S. Open Men's Championship match is tomorrow at 2 Eastern on ABC and ESPN Plus. American Taylor Fritz, he's taking on world number 1 Jannik Sinner. Fritz, he is attempting to become the first American man to win the U.S. Open since Andy Roddick a little more than 20 years ago, 2003, Coach. It's been a while.
It's been a while. Yes, it has.
Coverage
and
begins.
You'd love to see him win it.
Yeah, no doubt. Coverage begins at 1 Eastern. It was a great 5-set battle a couple nights ago against Tiafoe. Ball is loose, by the way. Look, I think the runner was down after that carry. That was A.J. Newberry who lost it, but he was ruled down by contact before that one bounced out. So it should set up second and short.
It was a big run. He ended up cutting it back, and then it looked like he's down, and the ball comes out.
Oh, that is...
Look at
that's close.
Close. Watch.
His body was rolling up over an Alcorn State player. Looks like This one is not going to be reviewed by the replay system up top. And Alexander moves the sticks. So a close call here for Vandy. Already with the 27-0 lead. They are shutting out the Braves today.
Well, it's all about the offensive line now. You know, those guys don't get the credit they deserve. And now we're just running the football and just pounding them and being physical at the point of attack.
And it's a great call. It's, you know, they brought back a couple of starters off of last year's team, brought in a couple of impact transfers. Chase Mitchell is one. Steven Lasoya from Mississippi State. There he is, the center. Fake it to Alexander. Pavia trying to get to the edge. Pavia wrangled down. And nice pursuit that time.
Good job by Williams. Cole Williams are getting him down. But the thing he does is they force the ball outside and they string it out. And Pavia's not fast enough to outrun him to the outside. But he's taking a lot of hits now. And that's the thing. He's taking a lot of hits. And you want to protect that quarterback.
Clock winding. Pavia to throw. Hauls it. He's got Sherrill down to the 20. And so it's a completion of 18 yards. Another first down.
But you look at it, I know he completes it, but it's another hit on the quarterback. And so when you get a score like this, you don't have to leave him in there and take all these hits. Because now, maybe when they make this drive here, you know, here it is right now, it's first 10. We get the ball and run the ball. And because they've been playing physical with that offensive line, just run behind your offensive line, get a ball to the tailbacks, and just knock them off the ball.
Well, how do you wrestle with that if you're Clark Lee and this staff? Because you know the value he brings when he improvises. However, you're trying to protect him as well.
Well, with a lead like this, it's all about protecting them.
With the play clock winding down, Newberry picks up maybe a yard, so it sets up second and long.
And that's the same thing with the offensive line. Just let those guys now just go and just pound the ball and keep it in the back's hand and protect your quarterback here and just limit his runs. And now you look at the heavy package in, it's 44-45 with them coming in the game with Fisher coming in. And the Davy. You look at it right here. Now be ready to run the ball behind it.
Yeah, there they are. They're on the right side of the formation. Newberry keeps his feet, escapes. Touchdown. It's a first career touchdown for the sophomore Newberry. Breaks free from the pile and scores. Touchdown run of 19 yards for the sophomore from Grand Prairie, Texas. It's now 34-zip Vanderbilt late in the third.
If you look right here, yeah, the two tight ends, they're going to come across the formation, and then the ball is going to end up cut back behind them. He follows them, boom, right there, misses the tackle in the hole. He ends up cut back behind it. Dude ends up missing the tackle and then goes in for the score.
And the headiness that time to cut back to the other side and to sneak into the end zone for his first career score. That one's got to feel good if you're A.J. Newberry.
And he did a great job of following his blockers right there, because you have the kick out, and then he ends up just cutting it back all the way back across the formation because there's a backer standing there in the hole who ends up missing the tackle.
So it's now 169 yards of rush offense for Vanderbilt. About 5 yards a carry And everybody has gotten involved. Latham takes a big hit at the end of that. And it will be 1st and 10 for Alcorn at the 25. Next Saturday, the SEC on ABC tripleheader. It features LSU and South Carolina getting things started at noon. Texas A&M at Florida to follow at 3:30. And then Georgia in Lexington to face Kentucky at 7:30 Eastern. Everything streaming live on ESPN Plus as well. So Georgia now 41 straight regular season wins. They had the statement victory to open the year against Clemson. And you got teams there, Florida, Texas A&M, they're looking to bounce back today and pick up their first victories of the season.
But, you know, Georgia right now is they're just so much better than everybody, right? And they're playing as a team.
A machine.
They're a team right now.
Carson Beck threw for 5 touchdown passes, which should surprise nobody in that win against Tennessee Tech. Tyron Warren with his first catch of the evening. And there's an Alcorn State player down at the tail end of that play with 2:24 to go in the third. Cedric Thomas and the athletic training staff, they are out there to assist Tramel Brown. That's the senior from Gainesville. He's been with the program now a couple of years after transferring from a junior college.
Looked like he hit the guy's helmet.
Well, we've seen 2 of the 3 potential quarterbacks that Cedric Thomas was going to use today. Xavier Vaughn, he came in very quickly to replace Tyler Macon.
And then last week, he started the second half. Vaughn did.
Yep. They're still working on Tramel Brown.
Right, because just looking at the quarterback, when he releases his ball, look right here, watch his hand here, and then he hits the helmet right there. He hits the helmet of the Vanderbilt player. Then he lands on it, so then that's why he's over just shaking it off. He's over trying to throw it, shaking his wrist.
Yeah, he was favoring that right hand. This is a good sight to see Tramel Brown able to walk off the field on his own power. You know, Cedric Thomas, he viewed these first 2 games as an important lead-up to not just SWAC play, but next week's battle against Edward Waters University. Again, they start the year against 2 FBS programs, last week at UAB, and then today against Vanderbilt. We were talking with Coach Thomas before the games. He said, hey, a lot of these guys, they've never been in an arena, a stadium quite like this. This is an opportunity and experience. And one thing he did say was, not everything, we're here to win, but it's not entirely about winning on the scoreboard. We've got to prepare ourselves for the SWAC slate coming up.
Well, he's about developing his players, and he knows that he get these games is going to provide him down the road, because now you get the experience, you get a chance to play a lot of guys and see how good these guys are going to perform in a stadium like this.
Coach, by the way, a first down there for Alcorn. They keep it on the ground. Sewell gains 1. And so Xavier Vaughn, listen, the $2 bill. Back behind him there, right where, $2 bill. I remember trying to collect them back in the day. He's got one right there in the pouch behind.
Is he $2? Or what does that represent?
It's worth a lot more.
What does that represent?
He's one of a kind. Maybe a.
Look like he's got an autograph too, and there with a $2 bill.
There's a flag with 47 seconds to go.
Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
Listen, nobody carries cash anymore. He's got a $2 bill, which you barely even see anymore.
And you know what's amazing? It's in his pads. I mean, come on. You have it in your uniform.
That's right. There's another flag with 25 seconds to go in the third quarter. And so things are getting a little choppy here for the Braves.
False start. Offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
So that was Cameron Rogers.
What you want to do, when you're sitting there at ALCORN, you just want to finish the game clean. You don't want all these penalties where you're getting the ball moved back and now it's second and long. When you just like to, just take the ball and just, 3 yards, first down, and just march it down the field instead of going backwards. You want to go forwards with it.
So that's the end of the third. One-sided affair. Vanderbilt with the 34-0 lead as we head to the fourth quarter. Welcome back to Nashville. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. 3 quarters of the books, and Vanderbilt has overwhelmed Alcorn State to this point. They were certainly the heavy favorites in this one after their exciting statement win a week ago in overtime against Virginia Tech. And you wonder, could that be a season-altering win for this Commodores team? They're taking care of business thus far tonight. We begin the fourth quarter. Alcorn State, 2nd and 19. They have dug themselves a little bit of hole on this drive, and so Xavier Vaughn just has to take it out of bounds with Charlie Strong. Kevin Fitzgerald with you.
Well, you know what you like here, Kevin? They come out here tonight, and Vandy, they have taken care of business.
Yes.
Like, they're not letting them move the ball. They're not letting them establish any drives, but they are handling their business tonight.
Yeah, they've held Alcorn to just 40 total yards. That's all. This is the second week of a back-to-back, if you will, for these Braves, where they're facing some stiff competition. That pass is incomplete for Griffin. Last week at UAB, they lost 41-3.
But you look at just what happened right there. It's 3rd and long. Try to throw a screen underneath. Is a high throw to get him. But you just got to look. You got to establish something. It gets some momentum going here. And then it's only going to help the offense because now you feel like you can go move the ball.
Again, Cedric Thomas had a bit of and has had, I should say, a bit of a quarterback battle on his hands. He started Tyler Macon each of the first 2 weeks, but he only was out there for a couple of drives today, and it's largely been Xavier Vaughn. Maybe that's the guy for them moving forward once they get into SWAC play. Vandy has it when we return. Next, leading 34-0. Let's check out tonight's best moment. It's brought to you by AT&T 5G. Some special teams miscues here for Alcorn State after what would have been a 53-yard punt was neutralized by a penalty flag. Martel Hike got a second chance. His long punt return set up Vanderbilt in enemy territory. Diego Pavia ran a 4-yard touchdown in. That was his first rushing score of the day. And he has officially been replaced on this drive. There goes Nate Johnson on the first snap of his evening. A 56-yard touchdown run. Welcome to the ball game, Nate Johnson.
What about that? gets on the edge, fakes the zone, pulls it, and now he's out down the sideline and outruns the whole defense.
Johnson, coach, he's the junior from Fresno. He battled Pavia in August camp for a couple of weeks there. They were neck and neck. Ultimately wound up falling behind Pavia on the depth chart here. And in his first action as a Commodore, it's a keeper that he takes 56 yards to the house. 41-0 after the Brock Taylor extra point. Take a look at this one.
Well, you lose contain there, and then he gets to the outside. He gets the edge on the safety, tries to come down inside, and he's had no angle, no pursuit angles to the ball, and he goes down the sideline.
4 rushing touchdowns a year ago. In his time at Utah, he was Bryson Barnes' backup. He started one game last year as a Ute. Ultimately hit the transfer portal. Vanderbilt brings him in. Again, he battled with Pavia for the starting job in camp. He has certainly got some talent and potential.
Well, you can see he's very athletic. I mean, just look at that run right there. Just that one play. Very athletic, good speed, and just outruns the whole defense.
And so talk about a fine first impression on his first snap as a Commodore. So, Coach, that's now 4 times today Vanderbilt is, I'll put it this way, they've got 450 or longer rushes today. Latham with a solid return out near the 30-yard line. There's a lot that's gone on around the conference today. Remember, tonight, SEC football final. It's back later today. Over on the SEC Network, Dari Noka, Chris Doring, Benjamin Watson. They're going to take you through all the biggest stories of the day, and they're going to break it all down 11 Eastern over on the SEC Network. I mean, you got a couple of tight games, Coach. How about Alabama at home in Tuscaloosa? They have just a 1-point lead over South Florida after 3 quarters. Texas with the statement win against Michigan. And Arkansas, they pushed Oklahoma State to the brink. Ultimately lost to the Cowboys double overtime. They had a 2-score lead at the break against OK State earlier today. Ultimately lost that one. New quarterback for Alcorn. This is Roderick Hartsfield. He's the redshirt freshman from Texas. Played in 4 games last year. Took the red shirt. And there's certainly a lot of coaches who are high on Hartsfield. He's getting some opportunities here in the 4th quarter.
Well, what he did, he's done played 3 quarterbacks. So you just got to find out what can they do best, and then just settle on one. Because now you just in and out with quarterbacks right there. You ran a reverse, and you didn't get much yardage here. So we'll see how Hartsfield, how he settle in.
And there's another procedural penalty here. It's a false start.
5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
Hartsfield saw some time late in that UAB opener, threw a couple of passes. And so he's going to pilot the offense here for the Braves.
Well, Kev, you know another thing, you look at all these procedure penalties, when you get different voices that are calling the commands with the quarterback, then you're going to get linemen are used to hearing one voice, and now when you hear these different voices, that get some guys to jump because that's the first time they've heard it. Now he's in there the second play to jump.
Thomas, in a lot of ways, he just about all but acknowledged that these first couple of games where he's going to play all 3 quarterbacks, it's almost like a training camp. He wants to see how they fare in live action, and that may determine who he sticks with, I should say, the remainder of the season. Their SWAC schedule starts in late September against Mississippi Valley State. You know, this is a program that has been to several Celebration Bowls recently. And they are trying to get back there. There you see Tyler Macon. He was the starter today for ASU. But there certainly are championship aspirations for this program, at least from a SWAC title perspective. Dropped interception. That was Dante Carter. That's the freshman from San Antonio who really impressed in August camp. Boy, that was right there in his hands. Dropped it.
Well, good drive on the ball. Now just finish it. Finish the play. Good drive on the ball, then finish the play. Hit him in a bad place, his hands.
Yeah, boy, it was right there, Coach.
And you had the route right in front of him. It was coming across to him.
7th punt of the day. This is the first punt from Franklin Rogers. Height, he's got a lot of room in front of him. Martell Height, say goodnight. It's a 57-yard punt return touchdown.
Because you look at their last two scores, Kev, they got an interception. I mean, a running quarterback goes 56 yards. Now you punt the ball to me, and there goes one play with the quarterback, now one play in the kicking game. And so that's where you can't have the big plays there, because it destroys your confidence of your team. And you just got it. The kicking game has really hurt them tonight.
You know, Martell Height's first 2 punt returns of his career were last week. They both were returned 22 yards. And today he's got 127 punt return yards. That one from 50-plus yards to the house. The sophomore from Rome, Georgia. It gives Vanderbilt a special team score.
There you go, right here. He ends up catching it, comes right down the middle, cuts back, make one cut, outruns the punter, touchdown.
And then after a punt return, TD, a little selly. Nice work.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Ice Cold Dr. Pepper. College football, it's a pepper thing. And in part by Inspire. No mask, no hose, just sleep.
A lot to celebrate here. If you didn't, if you didn't just enjoy here, it wasn't only the Commodore climb, we're calling that, from Pavia, the leap into the club level seating after his touchdown. You got Sherilyn Height with the fine choreography there after the 56-yard punt return touchdown for Martell Height, first of his career. And so Vanderbilt has the 48-0 advantage.
Well, the amazing thing, they're having fun. I mean, you look at the leap we talk about with Bobby, and they're just having fun. They're scoring, and that's what you want to get out of this game. And the defense is really playing well tonight. Look what they have done. 42 yards.
That's it. So as of right now, as it stands now, it's the lowest total allowed since giving up 93 to Chattanooga in 2003. I mean, it has been a while here. And, you know, Coach, it's a defense that I think is walking around with a little more swagger. There's just a different feeling on that side of the ball. We spoke at length
a
with
lot more
Langston
confidence.
Patterson.
Yeah, a lot more confidence.
So it's still Roderick Hartsfield. Oh, interception. And is he going to carry him into the end zone? Allen Wright with a pick six.
Hey, Kev, you look at this. The last 3 possessions, offense is up, you go 56 yards. You punt the ball, touchdown. Now we get an interception for a touchdown. 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns.
It's Taco Wright.
Oh, yes.
The senior from Fayetteville.
We had a conversation with them yesterday.
That's right. The quintessential teammate in this locker room. It gives Vanderbilt its first defensive score, and so they have scored in all three phases now. Special teams, defense, offense, 55-0. That's 21 fourth quarter points for Vandy. They've only played one offensive snap here. The fireworks are gone. You score 55 points. The fireworks are out.
Well, they must have thought they weren't going to score this many points.
Oh, we got 12 minutes.
And we still got 12 minutes.
So look at how he, just jumps the route.
Well, it's a good job. You come in with pressure, and so now we get the pressure right in his face, and then throws it to the outside. That's good, though. You know what? These guys are having fun. That's really good. They're having fun, scoring touchdowns. It's good to see Vandy, where they just a good game for them.
So Taco Wright, who largely plays on special teams, he's got his first career pick six. And remember, his brother Mike was a starting quarterback here 2 years ago.
Now, and he's a starter at Northwestern now. Where's he at now, Cal?
That's right.
Northwestern.
Well, he goes from Vanderbilt to Mississippi State and hits the transfer portal again. So Big Bro is starting at Northwestern. That is so 3 scores for Vandy, yet they've only run one offensive play in this fourth quarter.
3 scores and 3 possessions. You think about it. One offensive play, quarterback goes 56. Defense goes out here, forces a punt, touchdown. Defense comes back, then they try to throw the ball out and flat, touchdown.
I think there were a lot of there's a little half smile on the face of Clark Lee, by the way. Yep, here's the fourth quarter scoring. The lone offensive play was the Nate Johnson quarterback keeper to the house from 56 yards out. Then Martell Heights 57-yard punt return touchdown. And Taco Wright with the pick six. Let's see if Roderick Hartsfield can steady the ship now. They keep it on the ground. You know, there were a lot of questions coming into this season for Vanderbilt and Clark Lee, this being his 4th season as the head coach here. And there were a lot of changes in the offseason. There really were. It wasn't just personnel-wise. He took over as a defensive coordinator. He made some staff changes, brings in a guy like Jerry Kill to be his chief consultant, his senior offensive advisor, an encouraging voice, he says. And so with an opponent like Virginia Tech right out of the chute, a lot of folks wondered what sort of Vanderbilt team were we going to see. And we saw a very competitive one that takes down a Virginia Tech team in overtime to start the season. Things are rolling tonight, and here you go. You're going to look up and find yourself 2-0 to start a season.
Well, if you look at what he's done, too, he's taken over the defense. So tonight, the defense has played really well. You're bringing a lot of pressure now. Guys are just not sitting back, but they're creating the pressure. And it's all about disrupting rhythm. They're disrupting the rhythm of the offense. And you look right there, he brought pressure again. Now it's 3rd down. Probably going to see some type of pressure here.
Took over as the defensive coordinator in the offseason. It has reinvigorated him. He certainly acknowledges that it has been it's a challenging ordeal.
Well,
much more. Go ahead, Coach.
Well, it's really tough because, you know, when you were the defensive coordinator, you still got to worry about the defense. You got to worry about if they score. Why did they score? You got to go back there and show them reason why they scored. Whereas offensively, you're sitting there and a lot of head coaches are offensive guys.
Right.
And you don't see many defensive guys. Clark may be the only one in this conference that is calling the defense.
You nailed it. It is much more common to see the head coach double as the offensive coordinator. But Clark Lee, his prior stop before he took the head job at his alma mater. It was at Notre Dame. Helped propel Brian Kelly's defense to a couple of college football playoffs with 9:39 to go in the fourth. ALCORN uses the timeout, and so we'll step aside before they punt it back to Lee's team, who was dominated in all three phases, leading 55-0. So tune in to Mississippi State, Arizona State tonight at 10:30 Eastern. And watch it anywhere on the ESPN app and on ESPN.com. Just tap for the ultimate guide to live sports. ALCORN State flipping this one back to Vanderbilt. The Commodores with the 55-0 lead. They've scored offensive touchdowns. They've scored a special teams touchdown. They've got a pick six. By the way, that's an interesting little battle there for Mississippi State. New head coach.
Well, you know,
Starkville.
What they need to do is get out there and get their offense going, because we know it's fast, it's up-tempo. Get up on the ball and just run their offense. And the thing you liked about last week, the quarterback played really well. You know, he's able to make the throws, able to run the football, and then defensively, they were able to put pressure on Kentucky. So
that's right.
So Eastern Kentucky. So it was really good how they played.
Blake Shapen, just like a Diego Pavia, first-year starter at his respective school. Nate Johnson airing this one out. He connects with Quincy Skinner. Sheds a man. Skinner to the house. It's a touchdown. There's a flag back near the 45-yard line. If it stands, that's a 79-yard catch and run.
Offense, number 3.
But the effort in vain.
From the previous spot remains first down. Correction, half the distance to the goal from the previous spot. First down.
Wow, that wipes away the 79-yard catch and run for Skinner.
Did he push off? Did he push off? I mean, well, you see his hands go forward, and then the guy goes down. Yeah, standing.
So right here.
Yeah, you get it. You see the push off.
And you see our side judge there reaching for that flag immediately. So back him all the way up to the 10-yard line. Oh, nice defensive push that time. That was Sam Edison. Who makes the play in the backfield for a loss of 1. And if you're Quincy Skinner, too, you know that your opportunities are waning. And is that the last time we see him out on the field? Nate Johnson, last year, after Cam Rising went down in Utah, he wound up backing up Bryson Barnes. Barnes got hurt at one point last season, so he came in and wound up completing their win against Weber State. He beat UCLA in a low-scoring game as well. Struggled later in the season, and Barnes ultimately took the starting job back from him. But this is a quarterback with quite a bit of upside here. He was a top 100 recruit in the 2022 class. He was one of the better quarterbacks.
Well, and what you like to see right here is third down. You like to see get off the field. You know, get off the field, and ALCORN needs to make a play here and get a stop.
Yeah, something positive here for this Braves team that has been shut out to this point. Johnson keeps it. Johnson tucks it and runs. He'll wind up just a few yards short after he was ushered out of bounds by Haney. So fourth down and maybe 2 yards. And so Vanderbilt will punt it back to ASU with less than 7.5 to go in this fourth quarter. Latham back to return, and Mirko, the Aussie, to kick it away.
And just in need right here to get it fielded.
Oh, this is a beautiful punt. It's bouncing, and look at where Vanderbilt is going to down this one. A 68-yard BB. Jesse Mirko.
And you know what? It happened in the kicking game. Think about what they have done in the kicking game and how well they played. And there goes another one right there. I mean, it's fun to watch when all three phases are playing together, offense, defense, and kicking game, and that's what we're seeing tonight.
Mirko's the Aussies from outside of Perth. Spent his first 3 years at Ohio State, and that is now his new career-long 68-yard punt for the senior from Fremantle, Australia. Cedric Thomas's team. Again, not much that they have had to smile about today. Hartsfield just trying to move the pile forward and maybe got half a yard.
You know, it's really tough there. You don't hardly ever take snaps from under the center. So now all of a sudden the ball is on the 2-yard line and you got to go up underneath. And that's what quarterbacks aren't comfortable with because that's what they don't use because they all sit in shotguns. So we'll see if there's any type of quarterback center exchange problems here.
6.5 to go. And there's the yards by quarter for Alcorn State. Again, a program with a fine, prominent football history. And while they have been certainly overmatched just from a physicality standpoint today, they are certainly going to vie. Perhaps you would think it wouldn't be surprising if they wind up near the top of their division in the SWAC. They were projected to win the West Division. Where they tied atop that division a year ago, ultimately lost out on a tiebreaker and did not play in the SWAC championship game.
Well, you'd like to see them the same thing here. It's third down. And anytime you get backed up like that, you will love to move the ball. Get 2 first downs, and that changed the field position for you if you had to punt.
That's Jackson Pickett, who's getting tended to here by the Alcorn State athletic training staff. So, by the way, we mentioned, we've already highlighted some of the notable players that have come through Lorman. How about some of the greats that have played in the SWAC and at HBCUs? Jerry Rice at Mississippi Valley State. How about Walter Payton, man? Come on.
I mean, look at these guys. Look at Michael Strahan. And you see him every day. Hey, he's all over the TV.
Yeah.
Aaron McNair. I mean, all these guys were great players. Doug, look at my man Doug. But these were, you think about these guys were Hall of Famers. I mean, they're in the NFL. All of them have had great careers. And that's just some of them. I mean, there's many more than that. But you just look at one time, we stood on all those guys' shoulders because they helped pave the way for where we are right now, going to the HBCUs.
No doubt about it. And there's so many others that went on to have fantastic pro NFL careers. Nice run here from Cameron Stewart. Was able to squeeze through the pile, broke a tackle, and that's a 15-yard run. One of the better plays offensively for Alcorn today. It's their longest run and play of the day.
Sewell comes up and makes the tackle, but you get a first down. All right, now the clock, but you get off the goal line. Now you have some room to operate. If you need to throw the ball, at least you're not taking a chance of getting a sack for a safety.
Cameron Stewart, the freshman from Zachary, just a couple of carries in the opener. He's been behind Jacorian Sewell. And he's getting some opportunities here. Hartsfield take it down after a short game. By the way, speaking of Alcorn State running backs and advancing to play at the next level, remember Alcorn State a year ago, they were led by Jarvian Howard, who spent time with the Packers during training camp. So again, there has been a fairly consistent pipeline every once in a while of Alcorn State Braves that ultimately make it to the next level, just like a lot of those guys that we saw.
And it's like anywhere, because you put in the work, they're going to find you. The NFL will find you, and that's good that, they're going to, and you go to Alcorn, you got a young man there that was in a camp, and he wasn't the only one.
It's a program this year that it certainly had to replace a lot of veteran production off of last year's 7-win team. There was the head coaching change. And so there is a lot of freshness in Lorman. 3rd and 5 here for Hartsfield. And the Braves with 3.5 to go. And by the way, how about three Alcorn State Braves that have been elected to the College Football Hall of Fame? Right there in the middle, you see the late, great Steve McNair. Boy, he dominated in his 3 years in Lorman. Ultimately drafted by the Houston Oilers. They moved to Tennessee, where he takes them to a Super Bowl. And there's a flag just as the play clock was expiring.
False start. Offense, number 68.
Well, you think about all those schools, they are able, and HBCUs are producing players, Hall of Famers in the NFL. I mean, they're everywhere.
Commodores are feeling good because this is going to go down as another resounding win here. They will go to Atlanta to face Georgia State. That's going to be a face mask, it looks like. There was a lot of contact at the tail end of that play.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 5. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run, first down.
That's Issa Wataha, who's getting some time here late in this game.
And the good thing he did is split the double team. And he split the double team. Look at the double team. He splits it, comes off and makes the play, gets a face mask, though. And you know, he's from where? Germany?
That's right.
And we have 2 players on that defense from Germany.
Two on the defensive line. The other line is Zung, who played great in the opener against Virginia Tech. Alcorn State trying to move the football here late in the 4th. Great coverage. Omarion Blakes made the catch, and Ugachukwu came flying up from his secondary position to make the stop. 2-minute timeout in Nashville. The Parthenon in the distance. Vandy up big. Things will get a little tougher here for Vanderbilt in a couple of weeks, so it closes out this early 3-game non-conference slate with Georgia State. They will go to Atlanta to face Georgia State next week, and then it is on the road to kick off SEC play at Missouri. They'll get Alabama here next month, but this is a difficult slate, of course, for Vanderbilt moving forward. The good news is, Coach, that they have got just quite a bit of bounce in their step now after what's going to be a 2-0 start, including the win last week against Virginia Tech.
Hands to the
well,
face.
it's a lot of
defense, number 11. 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down.
That was Darren Edge.
68 of the offense can stay in the game because his helmet went out due to foul.
It's just a lot of confidence, and now when you go play these games and you get a blowout win here, you go and you win the first game, Virginia Tech, but it's a lot of confidence, and they get a lot of confidence, and they start building it. So now when they go on the road to Missouri or who to play Alabama, they're going to come in with feeling like, hey, we can go play with these guys.
Alabama team, by the way, that had a little trouble with South Florida. They've got a 12-point lead now over the Bulls late in the 4th. You saw Tennessee at the tail end of that schedule. Tennessee has hung up 44 and counting on NC State today. That fourth quarter just started.
And that's a good NC State team.
It is.
You know, they rank number 24 in the country.
Everything else has been fairly straightforward around the conference. Elsewhere, Arkansas, they pushed Oklahoma State to the brink. Ultimately fell to the Cowboys in double overtime earlier today. They had a lead at half in that game. This will likely be a false start. 46 seconds to go.
Offense, number 68. 5-yard penalty, remains second down. By rule, please set the game clock to 36 seconds due to a 10-second runoff. The clock will start on my signal.
It's rhythm. It's rhythm. And so you see all these false starts tonight. And then, like I said, when you play that many quarterbacks, it's hard for the O-line. You got to get in a rhythm of hearing the same voice.
Well, Vanderbilt, by the way, offensively, Coach, rushed for 242 yards today, more than 6 yards a carry. That's helped out quite a bit by Nate Johnson's 56-yard touchdown run on his first snap as a Commodore.
And you know, they talked about being physical. They were physical because when you rush the ball for that many yards, then you're playing physical and you're winning at the point of attack.
So Vanderbilt moves to 2-0 with a shutout win over ALCORN State. A team that'll certainly be very competitive in the SWAC this year, ultimately just overmatched today physically. And so Clark Lee's team starts 2-0. They hold the Braves to just 71 yards, their lowest total allowed to an opponent since 2003. It has been a while, and a big victory today.
That's great. That's great for them. And hey, I know Coach is going to be happy.
Hope you enjoyed it. For Coach, I'm Kevin, our entire great crew. We say good night from Nashville. Vanderbilt, a big winner today.